Daryl Dixon we've had 4 episodes now of the Daryl Dixon show, which sounds more like the Bob Newhart show or something, or rather than a Walking Dead spinoff. The Daryl Dixon show, and your host tonight, Mr. Daryl Dixon. Yeah. Anyways, 4 episodes in, I've liked one of these episodes. I really liked the second episode, and I think a large part of that was that I enjoyed seeing the outbreak happen. The original zombie outbreak take place in Paris and in France. That was super interesting. I don't know. I think I've always sort of enjoyed seeing the outbreak, that period of time the most. When people go from the normal world, their comfortable world, everything's fine, to suddenly like, what's that guy doing? Well, shambling across the street towards me, drooling and snarling. Like, no one expects it. For whatever reason, I find that, to watch the social breakdown, the societal breakdown, everything go to shit in 30 seconds, that to me, like how that happens. And that's kind of why I really was excited for Fear the Walking Dead, which did that really well for like 2 episodes and then had an inexplicable time jump. So anyways, I enjoyed that in the second episode, but all the other episodes I have found to be just very pretty versions of basically the same old Walking Dead bullshit. We have Norman Reedus doing a great job as Daryl, but I mean, what I can't get past is that this is just The Last of Us. This is just The Last of Us, but instead of Joel and Ellie, we have Daryl and Laurent. I don't like him. He doesn't work the same way Ellie works in The Last of Us. The Last of Us, both the game and the show, just do a better job of creating an interesting dynamic, a compelling relationship between the 2 lead characters, Joel and Ellie. We don't have much of that at all here in the Daryl Dixon show, and even if we get there to where, at the end of episode 4, we have just these 2, Daryl and Laurent, on the boat leaving Paris. But all I feel at this point is, oh crap, we're losing the other character I like in the show, Isabel. She's not going with them. Now we just have to now we have to have this Daryl and Laurent relationship only. There's nothing really exciting about that for me. It's more like dread than excitement. So beyond that, I've said this in my reviews of each episode. I think the production values are great. The show looks great. It's filmed really nicely, has a nice soundtrack. Costumes are done really well. Zombie effects are done really well. The setting, this dilapidated post-apocalyptic France, is quite lovely to behold. It's, there's a lot of stuff going for it, and some nice touches like where they went to Jim Morrison's grave, and there's the People Are Strange being sung in French, and so there's plenty of stuff that I like, superficially. There's the scene in the 3rd episode with the zombie orchestra that was something straight out of a Terry Gilliam movie. It could have been plucked right out of Brazil or 12 Monkeys or something. But then there's the plot, which is just basic The Walking Dead. And forgive me, I am just getting out of the other end of a bad cold that's had me down for a couple weeks now. As I'm very stuffy and like, but anyways, the plot, the story, the premise, this idea that, first of all, the preposterousness of Daryl even being in France, with very poor explanation, which is that he arrived on a boat and then got away from these bad guys. Okay, that just still doesn't make sense. It's thousands and thousands of gallons of fuel, like millions of gallons of fuel to bring one of those cargo ships across the ocean. Thousands of gallons a day. So I don't see how they are producing that kind of fuel to make that kind of voyage feasible at all. But even setting that aside, the story itself, which is Daryl's going to help transport this kid from the monastery to this place called the Nest because he's a chosen one. Is so silly. In the 3rd episode, they find this like NPC camp, and all I can think of is this is a video game. They find this NPC camp, and they're like, we can, if you find this for us, we will give you what you want. and there's all these like side quests and stuff. But basically, you know, this idea that they show up at this NPC camp, and that the kid, like, everyone is like treating him like he is this like holy messiah, and you know, he goes and gives this widow woman a hug, and everyone watches in rapt attention and awe, and it's like, okay, I understand that the nuns at the monastery might have felt like this kid was some special being, but why do the people here also feel that way? Like, how did they orchestrate this belief in this child? I don't understand. That's not really how it works. It's not like he shows up and then these people are sort of grudgingly convinced that he's this holy harbinger. No, it's just like right away they all think of him as special. And now that's why the bad guy, the warlord lady, wants to not only catch Daryl, but wants to stop this kid from getting out of Paris because we can't have him breeding false hope or some absolute nonsense. The bad guys in this show are terrible, frankly. I don't understand their motivation. Well, at least this woman's motivations. She seems to be this bad guy, like this, I guess, arch conservative. She thinks that Impressionism is a debaucherous art form, which is pretty bizarre for someone living in the modern era. Like, Impressionism is old now, hundreds of years old. It's just this formulaic crap that I get so sick of. Like The Walking Dead, it's always like, here's the big bad villain, and they inexplicably want to catch our hero and can find them regardless of any geographical plausibility. I mean, France is not a small country. France, you don't just like wander off from one location and instantly find who you're looking for on foot with no internet, no radios. Speaking of which, I do like the carrier pigeons, but they kill off the carrier pigeon guy in episode 4. And that's the other formula that we come to, is that everywhere our heroes go, everything goes to shit every single time. Doesn't matter if it's The Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead, whatever. Our heroes show up in a place. This place has been functioning for years, right? This not monastery, but the nunnery or whatever. These nuns have been living for years in peace and quiet, surviving the zombie apocalypse. And within a day of Daryl's arrival, half of them are dead. It's the same thing, you know, in Fear the Walking Dead. Every community they show up to. This community, maybe it's going okay. Maybe it's got some problems, but everyone's surviving. Within 72 hours, our heroes have upended the system, want to overthrow the leader, and by the end of it, everyone's dead, everything's destroyed, and our heroes move on to destroy something else. This happened in The Walking Dead. This happened in Fear the Walking Dead. This is happening now. I can only see that we're getting to wherever the nest or whatever, wherever Daryl takes Laurent, the cynical side of me says that he's going to show up and these people are going to try to create a vaccine using his brain, and then Daryl's going to shoot all of them and save Laurent and take him to safety. The optimist in me thinks that they're actually going to be there to help, but the bad guys are going to show up and everyone's going to die, but not because Daryl kills them. Either way, I don't think it's going to go well for wherever they end up. I think it's going to go badly, and a bunch of people are going to die. Because you just can't get anywhere with any of the main characters in this show without everything going to shit. Another weird parallel between The Last of Us and Daryl Dixon is the torture scene, where they need to find where Laurent is, and Daryl like shanks this guy a bunch of times, and you know, it's just very similar to when the cannibals take Ellie, and Joel stabs the guy and tortures the guy to find out where she's been taken. You know, show me on the map. Except for, you know, in Daryl Dixon, we get this long, stupid story of the pig. And I know a bunch of fans are like, oh, that was so great. But no, it's not. Like, if Daryl wants to torture the guy, he doesn't have to tell the story of the pig. Daryl's not a talker, guys. He's just going to stab the guy. You know, that's what Joel does. He doesn't like make a big old speech. He doesn't monologue for a while. It's just so stupid. I don't know. Maybe I'm just done with this franchise, because they can, even when they improve the cinematography and the special effects, even when they go to a great effort to make the show look good, it still has this flimsy ass script beneath it with this terrible, stupid premise. And I don't even blame them for like the Laurent being born to the dying mother who turns when she's dying. That happened in the Last of Us show, but it didn't happen in the game. And so there was no way they could have, when they were writing the script, they could have copied that. So that's just a weird coincidence, but everything else, it's so similar. And again, I'm not saying they copied it. It's just that you can't help make these comparisons between The Last of Us and the Daryl Dixon show. And they're not flattering. They're not flattering comparisons. So I'm just not very enthusiastic about where it's going, about where it's been. I did like all those flashbacks. I did think that the second episode in general was really good. I liked that they showed up to that orphanage, and I liked the prayer that Daryl gave over dinner. Honestly, like, maybe that would have been an interesting show. Maybe set this up like a Western, where Daryl shows up at an orphanage, and then it's like the Magnificent Seven or something, where you have to, or one of those, Westerns where there's some vulnerable community and the desperado shows up and helps fight off the bad guys, like the Three Amigos, right? Or in any number of John Wayne movies. Or maybe there could have been an interesting, I was going to say the Cowboys with John Wayne, but he dies in that. Spoiler, sorry. He dies in that, and then the kids have to carry on themselves without him. And there's no way they were going to kill off Daryl. He's got plot armor thicker than the freaking Great Wall of China. So that would be an interesting story if Daryl met up with some kids and was trying to get them to safety or something, and he died and they had to carry on their own. There's a lot of interesting stories that could have been told in a Daryl Dixon spinoff. But ferrying magic, holy messiah, wonderkind boy across France is just not one of them. That is a bad story. It doesn't work. The kid is annoying as shit and gets more annoying with every episode. And we're just following the same Walking Dead formula over and over and over again. And what is it? You can put lipstick on a pig. Anyways, thanks for watching. Once again, I'm sorry I've been so bad at making these lately. I am trying to do better. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'm going to talk about Ahsoka later, and some other stuff. And let me know what you think. Peace.